From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is the Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, Ernie Hudson. With Gina Grad on news and Bald Bryan on sound effects, and we'll play a spirited round of Dead or Alive. And now, this morning he saw his shadow, which means 6 more weeks of cold pool dunks. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. There's a choice for to get on. Your mandate, you get it on now. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for telling a friend. We'd love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
Handball, Brian.
Come on now.
Oh. Hey. Yeah, I was listening to Punxsutawney Phil this morning. How do they know when he sees his shadow? Am I naive?
I don't think it's a hard science.
Yeah, I think it's more of a like
ceremonial,
you would say, spirit of the law, not letter of the law.
So then, isn't it up to the one guy who decides whether he sees his shadow or not?
Indeed.
Whether how this is going, and does he just toggle back and forth? And can he be bought?
Oh, interesting.
Can he be bought by, I don't know, the down comforter, big down comforter. Big down.
Yeah, the skiing industry. Mammoth Mountain slopes.
Yeah, sell a few more lift passes going into April.
Although, has anyone ever looked at the contrast and comparison between the times he's seen his shadow and if we've actually had 6 more weeks of winter?
I'm sure it's 100% accurate.
I would argue that the societies, I'm just coming on to this thought, but the societies that had more of that in it, this is a rich man, poor man from a society standpoint. The societies that had more of your Punxsutawney Phil rituals in their society were either doing incredibly well or dirt ass poor and did not have a pot to piss in.
So question, where do you think the good people of Gobbler's Knob land on that, since that's where Punxsutawney Phil lives?
Well,
As depicted in the movie Groundhog Day, it's a lovely little town.
Oh, yeah, Gobbler's Knob.
I think it's as the general society at large. It can't just be the community there. The point is it makes national news every single year. And it's totally unnecessary. And we have meteorologists and weather satellites and things like that and Doppler. So we don't need it. Yep. We sort of choose to do it. This is the version of stringing your own popcorn to decorate your Christmas tree versus going down to Kmart and just buying a bunch of plastic pre-strung stuff. Like the more nonsense that we engage in, the less problems we have. On the other hand, if that takes over your society, then you're really in a bad place.
Yeah, that's a good point. The more high-tech you become, the more we just want those hints of quaint, just for fun.
Hints of quaint. All right.
My new scent.
And a good website. All right. I had a philosophical thought that I would like to pose to you guys in the audience. As I was interviewing Maria Menounos for my Take a Knee podcast. Maria,
I hope you said her name right.
we got to get Stallone saying Maria Menounos because it just makes me laugh. But very thoughtful person, very interesting. Love her energy. Love everything about Maria Menounos. Stumbled onto this thing that she kind of blew past it. She's like, well, when they came to me to write a book, I didn't know what I would write about. But then I decided to write about this, and then I was kind of thinking, yeah, they came to me to write a book, and I didn't know what I was going to write about, but I just wrote about what it is my passion was, or what I did, or what I thought. And so the philosophical question for everybody, and it kind of reminds me when I used to be a boxing instructor, and I used to get with some new student, and I'd say, What's your cross? What's your power hand? What's your strong hand? We got to figure out, are you going to stand with your left shoulder forward or your right shoulder forward? So we got to figure out your stance. And they'd go, I don't know. I don't know what my strong hand is. I mean, they know the hand they write with, but they didn't know. A lot of people didn't really know the hand they would punch with. And I said, a lot of women, actually, this grafting or getting back to what we were talking about yesterday. I said, if I stomped on your foot right now, what hand would you punch me with? And they'd go, oh, my right hand. Or they knew. As soon as I said, I'll stomp on your foot, what hand would come flying out? And they said, this hand or that hand. I said, okay, that's your power hand. So let's put you into that stance. So this philosophically kind of dovetails with that, which is a lot of people, they're in jobs they don't particularly like. And maybe they're in a career that they're okay with, but they just feel like there's more. The challenge, the burden of today's society is everyone is constantly telling you there's more out there. You know, back in the day, you had a job in a mill or a quarry or something. You had a job. That was good for you.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life, that was your job.
Damn whatever you're interested in. Maybe get a couple hours out of the weekend, but yeah.
The plan was do your job as long as they'll let you do it, and then maybe you'll get to retire and do what you want to do. But we're constantly bombarding everyone with all the, energy drink commercials and every commercial and every show and every time Oprah opens her mouth.
The entire self-help industry, you're not doing enough.
Yeah, or
you're not doing what you're meant to do.
What you're meant to do. So then a lot of people are like, I do feel like I'm supposed to be doing something, but I'm not sure exactly what that something is.
We had this philosophical debate on this show. It wasn't so much a debate, but you posed, I think it was, if I remember correctly, I proposed that I think there's a lot of people, maybe even more than half of just people who have a job, but their purpose or their talent or their interest or whatever is somewhere else. You know what I mean? I remember specifically I posed Christy's dad, who does the power tool shop. He inherited it from his dad. He runs the shop. He's ran it for decades. But the guy's a talented photographer. He's put on this earth to take photographs. You know what I mean? But he has a sense of duty. He runs the power tool shop.
Well, I think
imagine a lot of people are like that.
Yes. First off, the most noble of all endeavors, Brian, is running a power tool shop. So I'm not sure. Don't fill his head with poison. Him out there think he's going to be the next fucking Ansel Adams and falling off a cliff. No. His job is to get palm nailers into the hands of would-be carpenters. That is the most noble endeavor ever. That aside.
It's about example.
So, all right. So now I was trying to think, well, now what would you do? And a lot of people say, I don't know. I like doing this or I like doing that, but I don't really know. So much like my stomp on the foot and which hand comes flying out, as I was thinking about it with Maria Menounos, here's a nice test for everyone to take. If a book publisher came to you and said, we would like to pay you to write a book, what would the subject be on? What is your expertise? What is your passion? Now, we all have different ideas of what that would be. And, Gina might be a nice keto cookbook or might be something to do with broadcasting. But the point is you're in a very neutral place and some person just comes to you and says, we'd like you to write a book. You got 10 seconds. What's the subject of the book? The answer you give is what you would want to do. That's where your interests lie. That's where your passion is. You would never dream of suggesting a book theme that you had no interest in or no expertise in or you didn't endeavor to learn more about or grow with. So if everyone who's out there sort of thinking, I don't like my job or I'm okay with my job, but I'm not nuts about it, or what do I really want to do or what am I put here to do? Just do that simple thought experiment. Somebody comes up, asks you to write a book, and don't sleep on it. They're going to wait in the doorway until you give them the answer. What is the subject of that book?
It's interesting.
I feel like that would be you at your purest. All right.
That's what we call a good hack. That's a good life hack.
That's a good hack.
Find yourself.
So ask yourself that question. I don't know. Send me a tweet. I'd probably be interested in reading it. All right. I have a other thought here, which is Mike August called me today, and he said, we need your Super Bowl pick because people have to pick the other direction.
Right. Important.
And so I was thinking about it, and betting against Tom Brady seems like insanity, but I think the Chiefs are going to roll pretty good in that game.
Oh, no.
And I know.
Come on.
Mike sent me a website that said it's at 3. Chris just said it's at 3.5. 3.5, not nearly as attractive as 3 because it could be a close game. But I think the Chiefs. I think, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, and everyone's talking about how great his arm is and his mobility, and how he escapes well, and
he's also a clutch player,
flow,
big time player. Like,
and
he'll play well when it matters.
How clutch he is, but and maybe it's a little bit racist. I don't know, but his decision making doesn't get talked about nearly enough. He makes good decisions. When he gets out of the pocket, when you get out of the pocket and you start rolling out and scrambling, that's when the bad decisions happen.
Right.
I mean, Brett Favre, I think, is going to be on tomorrow or the next day. I won't bring it up to him tomorrow, but
when the pressure comes,
Brett's made a few bad decisions because he has a great arm, and he thought he could roll hard to his right and then throw across the field and get it into this tight window, and it didn't always work out.
It's interesting. I couldn't tell what the light racism part was. You saying the decision-making thing, or him not getting the credit for being a good decision-maker?
I'd like to think it's both.
It is a little bit of both.
But it is maybe a theme we've been talking about. But it is, he gets this athletic. What an arm. Look how mobile he is. But his real key to success is the decision making. He gets around. He moves those chains. He checks that ball down. He doesn't wind up and air it out on 3rd and 6 and go for the home run ball. He gets the ball into the hands of Kelsey or Tyreek Hill and moves those chains. And it's demoralizing to a defense to kind of stop the first 2 plays and then seem like you have the 3rd down stop, and the guy just scrambles out and just checks it down, and next thing you know, they're setting up with a fresh set of downs. Yes, Brian?
That was as a 49ers fan when they played. My 49ers played the Chiefs and Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and Pat Mahomes was coming back from however much they were down. It was like a guillotine. It's like, if this guy's going to make the right decision. And the Niners had a legit great defense that year, and I was still like, oh boy, I don't know how we're going to stop this guy.
So I would say that I'm going to bet on the Chiefs. Sorry, Gina. And I've
cursed him.
If you pressure Tom Brady, I don't think he's going to have a great game, and he's 43. We may finally see him get a little bit old. I don't know.
On top of that, you meant the first thing you said was, you don't want to, it's scary to bet against Tom Brady. Or you don't want to bet against Tom Brady or whatever. What do you think Tom Brady's record is in his 9 Super Bowls against the spread?
Ooh. Oh, it's got to be abysmal. Because
4-5. He's 4 wins and 5 losses. So it is not the worst thing in the world to bet against Tom Brady against the spread. Now, of course, he's broken many hearts over many years, but he's not a perfect 9-0. The guy has lost more than he's won against the spread. All that matters is the ring, of course, if you're betting.
Yeah, they're so close. Some of those games are so close. We have Sly talking about Maria Menounos.
We were sitting in Maria Menounos' backyard.
That's right.
And we were talking.
Nina Menounos' backyard. Right?
Who is she?
Nina Menounos' backyard.
Maria Menounos.
Right.
This
backyard.
Yeah, we're in Marina. Maria Menounos'
backyard.
Yeah, it's the pluralization. I think that screws us up. Yeah. Maria Menounos'
backyard. And you said to me, I remember this.
Yeah.
Remember what you said to me?
Yeah, I
said. In the Menounos' backyard?
Who?
Salminio's backyard?
No, Maria Menounos.
Right.
Yeah, so I said to Sly, who he punches his own hand a lot.
Yeah, I like to do that.
Yeah.
I like to punch myself.
Right. Well, the hand, the palm,
Yeah.
Yes, I can never speak to or say the name Maria Menounos again without laughing and thinking about Sly. I tried a food 2 days ago that I have witnessed my entire life. I've been aware of my entire life. It's not exotic. It's not from a foreign land. It's right here in the U.S. of A. Let's think about this.
I was about to say, if you've witnessed it, that means there's some sort of production. So I'm thinking,
no, not
Alaska.
No, not witness the creation of.
Okay.
I've been aware of it. I've seen it. I've seen it on TV a million times. I've seen it in person quite a few times. It used to be quite ubiquitous here in the United States. It's not exotic. I have never tasted it, but yet I've always been aware of it. And it's probably even been used as, a punchline in a sitcom or something like that. And it's always been there, and everyone knows what it is. And I would bet you almost no one has ever partaken in it, but yet it is just there.
I have a guess.
Yes.
I'm trying to put all of the things you just said and form a meal. I'm going to say a tuna niçoise salad.
Yes, because when I was 9 and I would watch sitcoms.
Well, it's one of those, it sounds highfalutin, but it's not. It's at every restaurant. Everybody orders it at a lunch.
But
Nobody really, I don't really like it. I've never ordered it.
It wasn't around 35 years ago, was it?
Oh, I thought it was, yeah. I mean, I was thinking that kind of classic.
A tuna salad or a tuna?
Tuna niçoise.
Tuna niçoise.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. What's a tuna niçoise?
I don't like it. I don't know, Brian, if you order it, but it's like a salad with like hard-boiled eggs, green beans.
It's good.
Oh, I like that. I didn't know it was called niçoise.
That's
all right.
The first thing that came to my mind.
Not nearly that highfalutin. Brian?
The one I thought of, and it's not highfalutin, but the only way this falls apart is, I think you would consider it highfalutin, is fondue.
No, I think you've had fondue.
Probably have tried it. As a matter of fact, God bless my mean grandma, I think she had one of those 70s fondue sets.
You had to.
Once a year, she would bust out the fondue.
Or is it something so obvious in plain sight, like corn on the cob?
It is so insanely basic, and everyone has seen it and heard of it and been around it. But it couldn't be corn on the cob because everyone's had corn on the cob. I would be curious. It'll be one of the
chicken fried steak.
Oh.
No, but that is I've never really had chicken fried steak.
That's
a
good
point.
I think Engine Company 28 has that, and it's good.
There's also it also has almost no moving parts. This is not there's no price to it. It's not like, well, yeah, we heard of XY, the flaming whatever flambe, but we knew we couldn't afford it. We were poor. No, it's something we could have all afforded. We're all aware of it. We've seen it a million times, but have probably never tried.
Oh boy, this is a challenge. Is it entree, dessert, or appetizer, or side dish? Can we get it a line?
I would make it a side. I would call it a side, although technically I don't want to get you going too far down the side path because you probably wouldn't order it as a side.
Jesus.
Snack/side. And let's not forget it's around because I went and bought it when I was having my hot dog party and I saw it on the shelf and I'm like, I am for the first time ever going to partake in this thing.
This is pub cheese, is it?
That I've seen.
No, he's had that. Yeah.
No, but you got you're in the right neighborhood with the word pub. And pub cheese is awesome.
Beer nuts?
No, because I've had
pretzels.
a metric ton of beer nuts.
Pickled egg?
That's right, Brian.
Whoa!
Ew.
The pickled egg.
You ate one? Tell us everything.
A pickled egg. The pickled egg.
I've had one, but it's like a high-end version, like the French Laundry.
The fixture for every bar was a huge jar of pickled eggs.
Yeah,
just a big jar of pickled eggs. And if I've never seen anyone order one except for in a sitcom or something like that.
On The
Homer Simpson.
Simpsons.
The bartender would have to pull his sleeve up of his sweat jacket and then push his hand down in there and grab you the right egg and then hand it to you.
Ugh.
Those are in the post-COVID society. I don't know if that's going to
Frowned
fly
upon.
anymore.
I
Yes.
imagine a good one tastes amazing because it's pickled and it's an egg. Like that's a salty, briny egg.
Hold on. I'm at the grocery store a lot. You can buy a pickled egg?
I'm sure the Whole Foods
Yes,
has one.
I had it at the Gelson's.
Yeah.
I was looking for something else in the refrigerated department, and I saw this jar. I love pickles. I love the dill pickles.
Yeah,
I love the
too.
pickled chips. I love the bread and butter pickles.
Yep.
Now there's a whole. If you're into pickles, this is your renaissance because there is the fresh pickles and the quarter slice long ones.
High-end pickles.
You know what I need to bring you? I'm really into pickled crudité. So I will pickle asparagus, carrots, artichokes. You pickle anything.
Love it.
And I saw this jar and it said pickled eggs on it. Or maybe it didn't. I could see there were pickled eggs in
But
it.
if you're at Gelson's, that's where you want to do this. You don't want to do it at
Right.
the bar. You want to do it at, fucking.
Yeah, and I'm trying to even think if it's at the bar. I don't think it's at the bar anymore. I think
I'm sure
somebody
the health codes in California have outlawed
somebody
those.
figured that one out, and they probably just weren't selling like they used to. But I was like, I have never tried a pickled egg, and I've been aware of pickled eggs for 50 years, and I've never actually tasted a pickled egg.
So
Well, it's also Vinny friendly, right? Like
Yep,
it's
absolutely.
a hard boiled egg that's just in some pickle brine, some vinegar and salt and whatever else. And I pulled one out and I tried it, not at the Gelson's, and the first bite was good. The second bite was like a little too much of the same, and then the
The law of
third,
diminishing returns.
it became a little overwhelming. I
little
think
cool hand Lukey.
the plan with the pickled egg is don't eat it like an apple. Get it, slice it up, and then cut up a couple pieces of avocado.
Right.
And throw
Hot sauce.
a few berries on the plate or something, and mix it up. I think if you did that if you want to go keto, you got some of those little cheddar crisp chips or Parmesan. Put the pickled egg on that. Bring it to life.
That sounds really good. I just want to go on record as saying how grotesquely misled we were by you calling this a side dish.
Well,
This would have never entered my mind.
It's in the family.
I
you know
was
what I mean?
given a
Side
choice
dish?
between dessert, entree, appetizer, and side dish, and
Maybe appetizer.
I said side dish, but don't think of it like a traditional
No,
side
you were
dish.
right. If you were asked to describe a dolphin and you said mammal, like you'd be technically correct. We wouldn't be thinking of the same thing. But
My problem is I only had 4 categories, and it didn't fit 3 of them. Side
I'd
dish
go
was the
appetizer.
closest.
or drunken nosh item that you only drink
Right.
on a dare.
Yeah, so I do not. Now, has anyone here ever tried a pickled egg? Or is it a full bygone era thing?
Not the one you're describing, but like at like a fancy restaurant. I think it was like the Bazaar by Jose Andres. It was like their fancy pickled egg, you know,
Like a quail egg.
Yeah, it was something like that, but it was delightful. I think it is meant to be like sliced up or crumbled up over a salad or something. You know what I mean? To give it a little bit of zing.
It's a little overwhelming to just eat in your hand, but whack it up and spread it out with some inert stuff, with some lettuce or some stuff that jicama or something. Yeah, the non-flavorful stuff. Max Patty, you've tried it?
Dawson must have done this.
I got a pickled egg place that I go to. I
Of
love
course you
I
do.
love
Of
myself
course.
some pickled eggs, and this place also does pickled egg salad. They take their pickled eggs and they make egg salad
like an egg
with it.
salad?
And and they do sandwiches like that too. So I love pickled eggs. I'm bringing some tomorrow for you, Adam.
I've done a pickled soft swirl place called Pickled Me Pink, which is not a hit, and I'm sad I now invested so much money in the franchise because I thought everyone loves pickles and everyone loves soft serve ice
Right.
cream. Why
Why not?
Why
Yeah.
not? Why not?
Pickled me pink is
Not
pretty
just
great.
for women in their
Pretty
6
great.
months of pregnancy.
So you go. Wait, where is this place?
It's called JoJo's in Long Beach. It's it's actually like a block away from me, but I'd still drive out for it. It's the best pickled egg you'll ever have.
And what else?
You guarantee that.
What else do they have there?
That's what they're known for. But they also do like they have like sausage sandwiches and other sandwiches. It's really just like a beer bar where you're supposed to just play pool and watch games with your friends. But they're known for their pickled eggs.
Wow. Also,
JoJo'st.
wow, that's awesome. I feel like you're kind of sending a message to your partner saying no sex tonight.
No.
I'm going
Certainly
out
no
for
makeout.
pickled eggs. Like it's going to get you coming and going. I feel like in the pickled egg department. Yes.
Well, no sex for you tomorrow because I'm bringing some pickled eggs.
Oh, are you? You're
Yeah.
going to Joe's? And,
Yeah, I'm going to bring some over for you.
And how shall we consume them?
I just eat them by itself.
Right.
They
But
actually
you
serve them
eat
on a bed of pretzel
You eat
sticks.
the shell of a lobster.
Yeah.
Right. So most people don't eat like you.
How would
Oh,
a human
right.
eat one?
Yeah.
This one will be enjoyed. No shell. It's just just straight up eggs. Sprinkle some cracked pepper on there though, if you're feeling good.
He
Wow.
still just wants you to eat it.
Okay. And it's in a bed of pretzel sticks we're
And
looking at?
and peppercini.
Pepperoncinis.
Pepperoncinis. Okay. I like
And
that.
schooners.
Wow.
Oh, schooners.
Live
Please-
show.
Dawson, please make me right. Have you had pickled eggs in your life?
Sorry, I never had.
What?
I figured it, if I saw those at the bar, it seems like something that, somebody would make a dare. You would think you'd be in that position where someone would go, I
Exactly.
dare you to do that. And if someone dared me to do it, I totally would, but it's never happened.
It also feels
Got a
and
cruise coming up.
feels to me mainly maybe it's just the crew I grew up with, but as soon as the bartender turned his back to make a daiquiri, definitely someone stirred that with their dick or shot a hot
Sure.
snot rocket into it. Like
Sure.
I just feel like that water needs to be checked and filtered, and I don't feel like there's any protocol. I've never seen a sticker on it that said last time
No.
it was
They
sanitized.
rotated it.
No, I feel like you would just keep dumping new eggs into the old water. Max Bata, find out who in this building has tasted a pickled egg. I have.
I can't imagine anyone besides Chris.
If not Dawson, then
Yeah,
then nobody here. All right, let's see.
A better question would be who at the other shop has had a pickled egg. I think
That's
the
actually a
batting
good
average will
point.
be higher.
Yeah, we got Nate over there, who's from Montana, who may have participated in the pickled egg. Do we have our unprepared? Speaking of food,
Yeah.
this was an unprepared that started off as one subject, and you can kind of hear in the middle somebody dropped a bunch of plates in the club, and then we shifted
Speaking
gear.
of Groundhog,
You have
Yeah.
you have feelings about that.
Yeah, you opened it up talking about that asshole with the big dog and the big combat boots at the airport.
How insane was that guy at 4:45 in the morning, Chris? All right, here we go.
No, this guy had to lace up his big old boots. Now, look, if you're a short guy and you got to wear the boots, I get it, but we all know what you're doing, right? We all see Stallone out there with his boots on, or Tom Cruise out there with his boots on. We understand you don't like wearing boots. You have to wear boots. I'm so confident that I actually look for shoes that make me shorter. Haven't found them yet. Still looking. I didn't do that thing where they dropped all the glass and I looked, because I don't like that shit. I don't like it when I'm at a restaurant and somebody drops a plate and then everyone goes, "What is this? What is this?" I think we have context for this. We're in a place where there's 50 people holding plates on trays over their head. So when you hear a plate drop, there's a good chance that it fell behind you and you have a context. If in fact you're alone in your bedroom and you hear a plate crash, you may then look. But if you're in fact in a place that's filled with drunken assholes and folks with GEDs serving them, holding glasses and trays and plates above their head, and you happen to hear something hit the tile floor, do not crane over. What is this? You're only doing it to embarrass the person. And that's why I'm only going to dedicate 14 more minutes to that bitch who dropped it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said the end, because the guy who brags about not looking does 5 minutes on the glass that broke.
Yeah,
That was perfect.
You must.
Sweet
All
Ernie.
right. Ernie Hudson's going to join us later on. Got some interesting stuff coming out. Interesting life. And look out, Ernie Hudson, because I was just looking at some of his credits, and goes back to Fantasy Island, Dukes of Hazzard, the
A-Team?
the A-Team, Taxi. I mean, I got to get into some of these shows. All right, and we'll do, I'll tell you what we'll do in a second. First, I'll tell you about Tommy John, Valentine's Day, do's and don'ts. Don't look like a champion, or I should say do look like a champion in your new Tommy John underwear. Don't forget to get her the buttery soft Tommy John loungewear. Oh, so comfortable, so soft. When you're wearing Tommy John, you'll be so comfortable you feel like you do everything better. I'm wearing my Tommy John t-shirt right now. Wait a minute. No, I'm not. I'm wearing my Tommy John underwear right now. I usually wear my t-shirt and my underwear. Dozens of comfort innovations. Once you try Tommy John, you'll never go back. Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics. The loungewear, especially when it's cold outside, is so damn comfortable and so damn nice. Pick up a pair for yourself and get that new Tommy John loungewear pajamas. Get that for her. It will be total success for you on Valentine's Day. They got the no-risk guarantee, by the way, with the best pair you'll ever wear. Or it's free, guarantee, right, Dawson?
For a limited time, go to TommyJohn.com/Adam and get $20 off site-wide, including limited edition Valentine's gift sets. Go right now. Last year, they sold out in just 5 days. Get $20 off site-wide, plus free shipping at TommyJohn.com/Adam. TommyJohn.com/Adam. See site for details.
All right, we got a new game to play that Brian cooked up, and we'll do that right after this.
Okay, I'll just voicemail it back in, and then you can call for the intro, describe the game. Here we go. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Adam. John Luceni, Ithaca, New York. In the teachers don't want to work department. Here in upstate New York, with schools when they're online, if there's a snow day, they cancel online schools. Unbelievable.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Yeah, baby. Well, I guess if we're just heading for purely virtual world, then why not have virtual snow days? God damn. We got to open those schools. We did find the clip of Newsom sounding sort of sensible in California, explaining.
It hadn't been scrubbed completely?
Yeah, somehow it got back up on the internet.
Yeah, it was posted by the Association of California School Administrators, so maybe they took it down and they put it back up. I don't know.
They got pressure after taking it down?
Who knows? Yeah, it's just
But it's him basically sounding kind of even and pragmatic and like he wants to get back to business. Now, I still don't know how it works. Well, we'll just play the clips, like a minute and a half.
Can you talk to us about your rationale and intent for the reopening push?
Well, if we wait for the perfect, we might as well just pack it up and just be honest with folks that we're not going to open for in-person instruction this school year. You start doing the math in terms of getting everybody vaccinated based upon what we know today. Again, it could radically change in the next few months. If everybody has to be vaccinated, we might as well just tell people the truth. There will be no in-person instruction in the state of California. Just tell them the truth. I mean, I can't, don't mislead people. And so if vaccinations is the absolute, then, maybe we should be having a different conversation with people of the state of California and parents, including myself, my wife, many others. And And so I think we can reopen schools safely without every single person in the state of California being vaccinated. I just believe that. I know that's flippant because we're not talking about every single person in the state of California. I hear you. You get the spirit, the gist of what I'm saying.
What I don't get is he's the governor of California. If the governor of California and or the mayor of Los Angeles were reopening schools, how come the schools don't reopen? Why doesn't he have dominion or jurisdiction over the schools of California? If he says, now I think the teachers' unions are saying we're not going back until everyone's vaccinated.
Right.
That's my guess.
But
he's gotten himself too tangled up.
Right, because the answer is all right, send in the scabs. I mean, I hate teachers' union. I am declaring that schools that have been closed for going on a year, we're coming up to a year. They've been closed for a year. That's insane. We're going to reopen them. And you say, teachers' unions, not till everyone's vaccinated. Well, that may not be until June or July, in which case the school...
Perfect timing!
It's over. So now, because I'm the governor and my job is to make decisions and govern, I will now decree that schools shall be open, and if you do not head back into the classroom, you shall be shit-canned. Now, he'll get destroyed by the teachers' unions, but
that's not gonna last.
They'll join in on the recall.
Does anyone want to be beholden to the teachers' unions? And who are the teachers' unions really fighting for? And do they have the kids' safety and the well-being? Is that really what they have in mind? And once again, you want to diversify. Everyone wants to diversify their portfolio. So maybe you want some Apple stock or some Tesla stock, but you want some utilities or whatever as well. If you put them all in one basket, if you put all your pickled eggs in one basket,
one jar,
then you say to the teachers' unions, shall we reopen? And they go, no. And now you're fucked. So maybe this would be a good learning, a good teachable moment of maybe we need more variety. Maybe we need some maybe we need some options here. Maybe not one big, huge, mobbed up union that gets to declare policy. Maybe that's not a good thing.
Well, and to your point about diversifying, a very dear friend of mine is a teacher at a private school and has always taught at private schools, and they're back.
Oh, yeah.
And she's been,
they got money to make.
She sent me a picture and she's all decked out in her mask and her, bedazzled because she's fun like that, face shield. And she's the one doing the, traffic copping, carpooling in the morning. I mean, they're back.
I think a lot of private schools have been back. I mean, when Newsom, what I always hate when Newsom does is like when he was in here and he was trying to do that aw shucks every man thing where he's like, hey, I got kids too, I got a wife, I got to check. Your kids have been in fucking private school. Do not worry about your kids. I understand you have kids and you have a wife, but
he's just like me.
Your kids are not affected.
Like us.
He was explaining to me when he was in here that he was a product of divorce, kind of implying that he grew up on the wrong side of the tracks.
He's from the streets.
Yeah, his dad was the lead counsel for Getty Oil. His dad's job was, I'm the head lawyer for the biggest energy company in the world. I am the lawyer, the head lawyer for the richest family in the world.
Yeah.
Probably not what we're picturing when you say product of divorce.
Hard to relate to.
And having to have the trials and tribulations of the single mom. Okay, Gavin, we get it. All right. Brian, would you like to set this one up?
This is a game that Gina and I played when we hosted 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. Dead or Alive. It's not complicated. Is this celebrity dead or are they, alive?
Well, and lately we've had so many octogenarian and nanogenarian deaths. You'd be surprised.
All right. Oh, no.
Yeah, do they walk these streets? Are they 6 feet underground? Do they burn in hell? Or are they still around? You saw them everywhere. Now nowhere at all. I've made a million guesses and I've lost them all. did they already die? Oh, are they dead or alive? Are they dead or alive?
Rich Banks, man.
All right, first up. Most of us became familiar with this actor in 1982's First Blood. Richard Crenna. Dead or alive?
Oh, wow.
I already hate this game.
I hope you got a lot of body bags. Yeah. The whole First Blood thing is an interesting conversation you have with your kids when they get older, because you go, no, there is a First Blood. There's like the original, like the first Rambo. This is a good action, outdoorsy drama. Like, this is a good movie. This is not the one where he's, shredded and firing flaming crossbow arrows into half tracks. All right.
What else is he in? Because he looks so familiar, and I know the name.
He's been in everything. God, I wish
Okay.
we could think of the rest of
And
the
I couldn't
shit.
quote
There's a couple movies here I never heard of. The Sand Pebbles from 1966.
Oh, come on, Steve McQueen.
And The Rape of Richard Beck from 1985.
Those aren't the ones.
Spoilers right in the title.
Never heard of Sand Pebbles?
Never.
Sand Pebbles was a big movie, and I think it was a Steve McQueen movie from back in the day. I think it was a war movie. All right.
Okay.
Dead or alive? Now, look, obviously, if we're
Insulting
talking
game.
about him, he's either dead or alive. So,
There you go.
Right. 50-50.
so we got that, right?
Nailed it.
I mean, that narrows it down
That's
because
right.
he's in the game.
There's
You know
only
what I
two
mean?
options left.
Right. At this point, I've narrowed it down to a coin toss.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about him dying, but then again, I would say that about everybody. You get a
Yeah.
hold of me 5 months from now, and I'll go, Cloris Leachman is dead? I never heard of anything about
Yeah.
Cloris. Right.
Did you know Hal Holbrook was alive until about 72 hours ago?
No.
No.
Yeah.
All right. You guys going to write it down?
Oh, sure.
Oh, I guess so.
Or not?
Make it
That
official.
doesn't matter. I say he's alive.
Oh.
I'm going to guess he died a while ago.
I have no idea. He looks, he doesn't look like a spring chicken in this old picture, so I'll say dead.
Richard Crenna is dead. He died in 2003.
Oh,
There
man.
you go.
Rest in peace.
Was Steve McQueen in Sand Pebbles?
Yes, 66.
That's like a big movie for him, I think. All right.
Next up, the creator of the comic strip Garfield, Jim Davis, dead or alive?
You guys have already won this game. This is great. Jim Davis.
I do miss those pictures like we're looking at now where they show the guy like Mel Blanc and then they show all the
Yeah.
characters around
I
them.
love that. Oh, the worst one ever was when Mel Blanc died. Do you remember that? And it was
Yes.
just a spotlight on a microphone and all the characters just sort of standing there sad.
Oh,
Right.
Oh, that was tough stuff.
All right. Boy. No idea. We just went dead.
this one's hard too because I think Garfield still appears like in
Right.
newspapers, but that could be who knows who's producing those.
Here's a theory. I feel like if he died, there'd be some comic making jokes about him in Garfield or dying or some version of that. It seems like there's,
9 Lives thing.
there's
Was on,
some
yeah.
soil there for people doing really distasteful things. I'm going to say alive.
I'm also going to say alive.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's passed the torch on this. I'm staying alive as well.
Well, Jim Davis is alive. He's 75 years old.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Mazel tov.
All right, next up, Charo. Did a nice stint on the Love Boat from 77 to 87, a decade. She was also in Chico and the Man.
She was?
Yeah, dead or alive?
And Adam, finish this sentence. Charo was famous for
Coochie, coochie, coochie. And playing the flamenco guitar and being married to, oh, fuck, who's she married to? Xavier Cugat.
okay.
Shit, who's she married to?
No clue
That's
why she
right.
was famous.
Who?
You're right. Xavier Cugat.
Oh. Well, I know more about
Who's
Charo
that?
than I thought. Who's Xavier Cugat?
Yeah.
You've never tried pickled eggs? What are you, in your 30s?
Yes, I am.
Xavier, Brian, you know Xavier Cugat?
I don't know the name. Was he? What
Oh,
he
he's
do?
a
Was he an
very, I guess, a very famous like Latin conductor, band leader.
I buy that.
Back when band leader was a big thing. I think.
Right.
I mean, you'd see a picture of him, you'd probably recognize him. I think he played the Vibes or something like that. Or I thought he played.
You
the
thought
Vibes.
he played the Vibes. He's a trained violinist.
Oh, violinist.
But yeah, leading figure in the spread of Latin music.
Leading figure. So who's the racist now, kids? I happen to know one of the leading figures in spreading Latin music, Xavier Cugat. Yeah, Charo was hot, and she was awesome on Love Boat, and she was just that. She was like the punchline to every joke when I was a kid. I did not hear. Charo was Pia Zadora before Pia Zadora was around. She was that. Okay. She's cute. She's got a great little figure. She's got good energy. No one really knows what she does exactly, but she also could do like a Vegas style show. I'm going to say I did not hear she died, so I'm going to say she's alive.
I'm going to guess she died semi-recently.
Because we didn't have a week on this show
Hold on,
dedicated.
Brian. Dead or
Yeah.
alive? Dead or alive? What? Let him finish. Dead?
That's right.
Okay.
D-E-A-D, dead.
Okay. We didn't have a week on the show dedicated to Charo's passing, so she has to be alive.
Charo is chilling at 70 years old. She's alive.
Right.
She's only 70. Wow.
Oof.
We have a pickled egg staff poll. What do we got?
All right. So in the no category, never had a pickled egg. Of course, Dawson, Matt, Gary, Emmy, Ryan, and Nate.
Nate.
I've never.
Never pickled
Never.
egg.
And then the yes is Haley, Megan, me, and Kaylin. And Kaylin is because I gave him one.
Still counts. All right. Interesting. Would not have guessed it. Maybe it's more ladies than men. All right. Sorry. What else? Sorry.
Next up, the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, dead or alive?
No one ever really talks about it, but I found Ted Kaczynski to be quite attractive. Like I felt he was an attractive older man.
Oh,
A young Ted Kaczynski was strikingly handsome.
Yes.
listen to you two.
Yeah,
You know what? Let's come up.
he's given Ted Bundy a real run for his, hot mass murderer department. Geez, wow. Was there some? Okay, I have a vague. No, is it him? I have a thought. Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah, hold on.
I love this game because people you don't think of as celebrities pop up.
Yes.
Like Jim Davis and Ted Kaczynski.
I think he is dead because I think I heard a story about him being killed in prison, but I may
I
have mistaken
vaguely
it.
recall him dying in prison, so I'll say dead.
I think it would be odd to have him alive just in the order that we're going, because I think we've already had a couple in a row, but I don't remember that story. I'm going to say he's alive.
Ted Kaczynski is serving his 8 life sentences in
Yeah.
Colorado right now. He's alive at 78 years old.
Sweet. Go, Ted.
Next up,
Let's get him that COVID shot. I mean, he is.
He'll get it before me. That son
He
of a
is
bitch.
elderly. We'll get him and the folks at Guantanamo, and then we'll get around to Brian.
Kenny Loggins, dead or alive?
Oh,
Oh,
dare you?
that's an
You guys are
attack.
jerk-offs.
That is an attack. He's got to be alive, otherwise. First off, I listened to a lot of yacht rock on Sirius XM, and they would have dedicated an entire weekend to Kenny Loggins if he'd pass.
memory.
So he's got to be alive.
In the morning when I rise. This guy's thriving. He's definitely alive.
If he died in the last 24 months, because I saw him on the Legends tour at Hollywood Bowl with Christopher Cross. He's alive.
Wait a minute. How was he live?
He was awesome. Oh, but I mean, imagine the crowd. They were just so stoked to be there. There was so much dancing and everyone going nuts. It was great. It was fun.
And
A lot of people liking that Caddyshack song.
How was Christopher Cross?
Great, but the vibe is different. He's a little more mellow. People were still getting their beers, finding their seats, but I enjoyed him.
All right. Well, we all said alive here.
He's alive.
Yeah.
He's 73. How about the creator of the Rubik's Cube, Erno Rubik? Dead or alive?
You earned your money this week.
Erno Rubik. And we just had a Rubik's Cube story in the news not too long ago. A lot of tournaments, a lot of Rubik's Cubes tournaments still going.
I don't know. You guys tell me if I'm just shaping this because I'm familiar with Rubik's Cubes, but no, I've never picked one up because for the same reason I've never played Scrabble or strapped on a dildo. I just feel like I don't need to confirm what I feel like I already know.
It's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do a good job with either any of those three endeavors. But I will say this. Rubik's Cube feels like somebody named it and that it's not someone's name. Like
a Rubik's Cube. Yeah.
Right. And in a way, this poor guy has this, if his last name was Carolla or Bishop or whatever Gina's last name is.
Thank you.
You'd kind of know, that's the guy who invented the cube.
Yeah.
But Rubik's Cube always just felt like some geometrical term or something to me.
It feels like the 70s version of a futuristic name.
Right.
I hope he was accomplished and famous for something else like mathematics or something, particle physics, and he's only known for this ridiculous toy.
But my God, you think about the ultimate accomplishment. It's to get this thing into the hands of 1 billion people across the world and then have competitions all over the world to see who could solve it the fastest. The Rubik's Cube is old.
Real old.
And he wasn't young when he came up with it. But it also feels like, I don't know, it also feels like one of those little newsy stories that they would love to put on the radio.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear about it, but that doesn't mean jack squat. I'm going to say he's dead. He's too old.
I'm going to differ and say he's alive.
There are enough Rubik's Cube stories in the news that the tag would be, and Senior Rubik is 98 years young. I haven't heard it. I think he's dead.
Erno Rubik is alive.
Hooray!
He's 73 years old.
73?
Really?
He's not that old.
He seemed 73 in that picture.
We're looking at a picture of
I'm
him.
hearing now that he's 76.
No, still.
It's been a tough few minutes.
We're going to keep waiting until he's dead. According to my calculations, in about 7 minutes, he'll have died of natural causes.
Just got to wait this one out, Adam. We'll be right.
Yeah, but this has screwed me up. I'm looking at a picture of him that looks like the same type of photo that every bad 70s Carolla Thanksgiving or whatever picture was.
That could be 1990.
And it looks very like 70s, and he's
figured
holding
it
the
was.
Rubik's Cube and he looks like he's 53. So anyway, all right.
All right, next up, Iggy Pop. Dead or alive?
Depends who you ask.
Oh, Iggy Pop. I'm not sure. He had that song, Love So Live.
Lust for Life.
Lust for Life. Yeah, I feel like we would have heard that the Lust for Life guy. Oh, God. I think Iggy Pop's probably a huge douchebag. Most guys the skinny guys who always take their shirts off are always douchebags. And also, I'm not sure exactly what he does. I know we call the singer, but I don't know if he actually sings. And when I brought him up on stage at some gig I was doing in Minnesota or something a million years ago, I was trying to bring him up on stage and he just rushed out, like knocked me down and grabbed the microphone and started screaming with his shirt off. And I thought, what a douche. All right. So hopefully he's dead, but I'm going to say he's alive.
He's alive and shredded.
Yes.
I think this pickled egg is still alive.
Iggy Pop is alive. He's 73 years old.
Wow.
The drummer for Cream and Blind Faith, Ginger Baker, dead or alive?
This is great.
Yeah. Do we know what his real first name was? Ginger Baker's a great name. Sounds like it's a good holiday name.
Yeah, it's a good cookie factory.
Yeah.
Chris, look up the title. There's a great documentary about him made only like 4 or 5 years ago.
Peter Edward Ginger Baker. So Ginger is a nickname.
Beware of Ginger Baker, I think is the title.
Yes. I will say I think I heard he died.
Yeah, I have a vague recollection of him dying too. I'll say dead.
Worked at a classic rock station for a while. Don't recall hearing it while I was hosting. Will therefore say he's alive.
I believe he actually died during your tenure over there, Gina. Dead in 2019.
Oh, I wasn't there in 2019.
Okay, cool. So we got a tie right now. Bryan and Gina are tied at 6. Adam has 5.
Oh, wait, they tied for second place?
Yeah, right.
There's
Next
one more?
up. No, we got 2 more if you want to get through them all.
Okay.
The photographer who took the cover of Rolling Stone picture featuring a naked John Lennon and Yoko Ono. She also took the cover shot of Caitlyn Jenner and Bruce Springsteen's Rolling Stone covers. Annie Leibovitz, dead or alive?
I say alive.
Yeah, she would have had to have died in the last couple of years if she took Jenner. So I'm going to say alive.
Yeah, not to be confused with Fran Lebowitz. I believe that Annie Leibovitz is also alive.
Yeah, she's alive. She's 71.
Yeah. By the way, female photographers go on to like 140. That is a long-lasting job. Because, I'm wondering...
They steal the souls of others.
Yes. And any job where you never really need to retire... in any life, I should say, where it's like when you have a job and there's no expiration date, as a photographer, and there's other jobs you just never have to stop. I feel like they just keep going.
Vin Scully,
right? It's the factory worker guys who get pushed out at 67 and then die at 69.
Okay, last one. We do have a tiebreaker if we need it. The man who played Radar on the television show MASH, Gary Berghoff.
All right.
Wow. I feel like Adam might have an edge on this one.
I do watch a lot of Me TV, and
Yeah.
they do run MASH episodes, but obviously they're 40 years old. I'm going to say alive.
I'll go opposite to make it interesting. I'll say dead.
I'm
I
out
don't know
of
who this guy is.
I mean, this would be another great tag to a news story. So I'm going to say if we haven't heard it, he's alive.
But we have a clear winner.
Oh.
Gary Berghoff is alive. Gina Grad for the win.
Nice job, Gina.
Thank you.
By
Outro.
1.
Dead or alive.
The gimmick with Radar, do you guys know why it was called Radar?
I have to assume he operated some radar equipment. Well, that was
No.
MASH unit, so maybe not.
But they were really into I feel like glasses humor. Could he not see very well? So it was like calling a big guy tiny.
Was he on the lookout for chicks?
No. He would be there in front of McLean Stevenson, the first general guy over there, the leader of the MASH unit or whatever. And he was always the running joke, and why they call it Radar is he'd be standing next to McLean, and McLean would go, Radar, you go over to and then Radar would say the nurses tent to inform them we have a special ops meeting tonight, and then he'd go, and then you go over to the mess hall and tell them no more shit on the shingle, and he'd go, tell them no more shit on the shingle, and so he'd always say he'd say what the guy was saying before he said it.
And see, it was a classic series.
Classic series, and that's why I think he was called Radar. Would also appear at commanding officer side before he called. Yeah, that's our thing too. Like McLean, it was like they do all that. Back then, a lot of that stuff was like vaudevillian. Like he'd go like Radar. He'd turn to like one side, like he turned to his right, go like Radar, get in here, and then he'd turn around. And he'd be standing right next to him, like hey, whoa. Like think how much mileage they got out of just stupid stuff like that. All right. Let me hit Geico, and then we'll talk to Ernie Hudson. We'll talk all about what it's like to be on Fantasy Island and the A-Team and the Dukes of Hazzard. He's probably playing Bo and Luke's long-lost cousin.
Sure.
He's also confirmed to be in the next Ghostbusters movie, but we'll get to that after.
If time permits.
Sure.
Oh, we got to find out if he's had a pickled egg. Geico. Don't ask him if he's alive, Brian. That would be Geico. Do you own? Do you rent your home? Well, you do one or the other, and then you want to bundle. You want to get those automotive policies. You want to bundle them up with your homeowners or your renters insurance and save a bunch of time and save a bunch of money. It's easy. Go to geico.com, get a quote, see just how much you could be saving when you bundle at geico.com. So visit geico.com today and get to bundling. All right, the great Ernie Hudson will be up right after this.
The Adam Carolla Show presents Ernie Hudson's birthday cocktail party for December 17th. Let's see who's invited. The leader of the Roman Catholic Church, Pope Francis, is here. From the Neville brothers, Art Neville. From the Temptations, Eddie Kendricks. From the Paul Butterfield Blues Band, Paul Butterfield. Journalist Chris Matthews. Eugene Levy. Paul Rogers is here, and he's bad company. We welcome Bill Pullman. From REM, Mike Mills. From The Replacements, Bob Stinson. FBI Director Christopher Wray. Actor Giovanni Ribisi, Mila Jovovich, and Manny Pacquiao. Ernie Hudson on The Adam Carolla Show.
Ernie is going to be joining us in a few moments. I just said, play the birthday intro anyway. Always find it interesting. So we'll talk to Ernie Hudson in a second. I had this side question. Every year when the Super Bowl comes about, I have two thoughts. One is who do I think is going to win to bet on in terms of covering the points, the spread. But then there's an emotional side. Who am I rooting for?
Sure.
Now, when the Rams make it, I root for the Rams. But then when other teams make it, I have things I need to examine. How many times? Right.
You're an underdog guy.
I feel bad for the franchises who haven't done anything for 50 years, or a couple in the Super Bowl era haven't. The Browns, never won a Super Bowl. So now this complicates things because of Tom Brady.
Yep.
You have the Buccaneers. They won 20 years ago, 19 years ago, 18 years ago. I mean, the Buccaneers whooped up on the Raiders in San Diego. I was there. We're all out there because we're launching the Jimmy Kimmel Show. It was the first year of the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Warren Sapp flew in, took a helicopter.
That was 2002.
2002. Took a helicopter from San Diego to be with Jimmy live. Like that Sunday, I guess we must have launched the first show.
The 2002 season, it was January of 2003.
Okay. So now we got the Chiefs, who I was rooting for in the past because they hadn't won a Super Bowl in 50 years, but now they won last year. Then you got the Bucks. They didn't win last year. They won 20 years ago, or 18. Close to it, 19. I guess it was 2002 season. Yeah, 18 years ago. But then there's Tom Brady. He wins every year. I feel as emotionally detached from this as humanly possible because I'm never rooting for Brady to get another ring. On the other hand, there are plenty of people on that team have been kicking around for 8 seasons who've not won a Super Bowl. And I like the Chiefs, but they won last year. Do I need them to win this year?
You know what I think it should come down to? I think it comes down to what city would you rather live in? And if you think you have a better life and a better good time in Tampa Bay, you got to go for Kansas City. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, they already live in,
I've never considered that.
Because you're not thinking out of the box like someone who doesn't watch football. It's if it was, I don't know,
how
the Padres.
Would this populace be?
The Padres versus the Brewers. I don't know if they would ever play each other. But it's like, well, San Diego, they're already in San Diego. They've already won.
No, Gina's right. There's the kind of the winner cities where, hey, Denver or San Diego or wherever. Yeah, they're not miserable like, Green Bay. And also it's Green Bay, Wisconsin or Cleveland or some of these other cities. It's like, that's all they have. Yeah. I know that sounds super condescending, but I mean, if Miami has
city, I can tell you.
There's many other things Miami has. As a matter of fact, I would bet you if the Miami Dolphins were going to the Super Bowl and you just walked up and down the streets of Miami and asked your average Miamiite what they thought or whatever, they'd be like, Dan Marino? Who the fuck is that?
Yep.
But you would never find that in Pittsburgh or Cleveland or these towns that live and die, right?
Yep. I've told you in Kansas City between the World Series and the Super Bowl, the town literally lights up with light bulbs. I mean, every neighborhood, every community, this is something to cheer for. I mean, it's a nice nice living, I guess, in the Midwest, but that's what you have. And it's a big deal. So, give it to the Chiefs.
I would bet you if you went out onto the streets of Cleveland during the Super Bowl, if in fact the Cleveland Browns were in the Super Bowl, it would be a ghost town. And if you went out in Miami, it'd probably just look like any Sunday, right?
Yep. I agree. I'm totally on board with everything you're saying. This is the first year. I'd have to look at a year-by-year matchup of the Super Bowl, but I can't remember being this disinterested in the two teams themselves. Obviously, you can gamble on props and all that fun stuff, which I do, since Seattle and New England. Right? When Russell Wilson threw that last-minute pick at the end, that's the Niners' rival versus the team that always fucking wins. I hope a meteor hits the stadium. I don't give a shit who. I don't have as much venom for these two teams, but it's like the team that beat my team last year or the guy who always wins. I don't care. I want them to be a blackout.
Well, at what point do we root for Tom Brady because of just the magnitude of what he's been able to accomplish? Like, at what point do we stop hating on him and go, this is an unbelievable record that'll never be beaten, and we were here to see it?
I just answered my own question in my head, but the question was going to be, does a Super Bowl win or loss this week and affect his legacy in any way? But I guess doing it without Belichick and doing it with a new team first year it gets there, it does enhance it for sure.
Well, in a way,
the guy's been in 9 Super Bowls. He's number 10.
It's like Belichick himself said. When we were first introduced to the band Wham, we didn't know which one was the talented one. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying Belichick is the Andrew Ridgeley of Wham?
In his own words, yeah. Right. It's pretty self-deprecating for Belichick. He doesn't normally talk that much at press conferences. But
he's the Richard Grieco to Tom Brady's Johnny Depp.
Right, but once they broke up, only then and only then could we really tell who the real talent was. And it's happened with more than one boy band out there as well. So, again, I don't want to bore you.
Who's J.C. Chazé and who's Justin Timberlake?
Well, now you sound like Belichick.
Yeah.
Yeah, find that clip, would you, Max Banner? Yeah, so now...
let me just jump in and say, I think the jury's out as of now as to where the credit's going to fall. Because as the coach, when you lose your marquee quarterback you've had for 19, 20 years, whoever it's been. You got to rebuild a little bit. So if Brady or Belichick has 3 losing seasons in a row, maybe we can call this fight. But if Belichick makes the playoffs next year, you know what I mean, or goes deep into the playoffs the next year, then maybe we can. This debate's worth having.
I still feel like if 43-year-old Tom Brady takes the Bucks, who they weren't, perennial all-stars. They were competitive, but they weren't.
They were that team that had a lot of talent, but just couldn't, put it together.
They weren't ever in that top 5, maybe top 8 or something like that. But anyway, he wins the Super Bowl at 43 with this team. That's whether it's an actual indictment, it'll just go down as kind of a Belichick indictment. I don't feel like Belichick is rooting for Tom Brady at this point, but I don't know. I guess Ernie's having some technical issues.
Yeah, but he's actively trying to get on, so he'll be on any minute.
He's actively trying to get on. All right. So, Dukes of Hazzard, the A-Team, Full House, Taxi, Fantasy Island, all things that we need to get into. Also, upcoming Ghostbusters. Again,
that's been. I don't know about that because that's been on the shelf for a while. I saw a trailer for that in the theater when I saw movies back in February of 2020.
Did they do I thought the all-female Ghostbusters took some wind out of that franchise
significantly, but I think that I don't think this one. Ernie may know or he may not know. I don't believe they're being secretive. I don't believe this one takes place in the same timeline universe because I love Paul Feig. He's a great guest on the show. I've enjoyed many of his movies. That just wasn't good.
Sigourney Weaver's going to be in this. Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray.
Well,
speaking of Garfield.
Speaking of Dead or Alive, and I hate saying this. I'm so sorry. I grew up watching him on SCTV. Is Harold Ramis with us?
Oh, he died a while ago.
I thought so. Yeah, so no.
Yeah,
okay.
Sad.
Harold Ramis. Oh, that's right. He did?
Yeah. That's the absence of you saying it triggered something in my brain.
I know Harold Ramis, and I can't picture him in my head right now. I'm losing
focus. Full circle. I think Bill Murray. Sorry to interrupt, Gina, but I believe Bill Murray. There's some story, and it's unconfirmed, but like Bill Murray.
Oh, Harold Ramis. Sorry.
Didn't like the way Groundhog Day either turned out, or there were some creative differences, or something. And he and Ramis, who are great friends, from Second City, had a falling out. And I don't know if they talked for a number of years.
Really?
They didn't talk for decades until Ramis was pretty much on his deathbed, where then they finally squashed his beef.
Because Bill didn't like the way Groundhog Day came out?
Yeah, they were famously fighting throughout that entire movie.
He was fine with Garfield and the way that came out.
And Groundhog Day is it's a silly movie. It's almost it's a work of art. It is a beautiful.
This is, you know what? See, every genius, comedic genius, musical genius, artistic genius,
podcasting genius.
I'm going to add this to my do list, which is my to-do list, which is find something that is definitively great that I've participated in and hate it. And then have everyone talk me into how great it is. What
are you talking about? It's a classic.
I don't know. Not my best work.
The Man Show was revolutionary. We'd never seen anything like that before.
Kimmel mailed it in.
No,
it gets funnier with every viewing.
Yeah, it was like winking at the audience. It was funny on a couple levels.
Yeah, it's pretty dated now, though. I think if you want.
I think we got it.
Presented this existential crisis, like, are we really here? Who's really in charge?
It was just a paycheck.
Oh, I hope we can at one point turn your mind on that one.
Yeah, good luck. But definitely try.
Oh.
Keep at it.
Keep trying real hard. No, it's if you start in Groundhog Day and you didn't like Groundhog Day, then that means you're the best actor in the entire planet because it's the greatest movie ever. Ernie Hudson.
Hey,
thanks for joining us.
Well, it's great. I apologize for the lateness.
That's okay.
Usually a little more together than that, but how's it going?
Good. We'll talk about the movie, and then we got to go right to the A-Team, Full House, Fantasy Island, and the Dukes of Hazzard because I'm watching a lot of TV land. Redemption Day is the name of the movie. It's available now on demand and digital, Amazon Video, iTunes, YouTube, and all that kind of stuff as well. I just watched a trailer about an hour and a half ago, and it looked powerful. But why don't you tell us about the movie, Ernie?
Yeah, well, I play a dad whose son, played by Gary Dearden, who's on CSI. Gary also played my nephew on a television show I executive produced and star in called The Family Business. And when he said he was doing this project that he was starring in, I really wanted to be a part of it. But it's about a vet who comes home with PTSD and is having some issues holding things together. His wife is kidnapped in a Middle Eastern country. And so he goes on a mission to rescue her. And I realized I'm at a certain age now where apparently I play dads a lot. So I'm the guy who stays home with the kids. But the movie's, it's a good script. And the director is from Morocco. We shot it in Morocco. I haven't actually seen it, but I think it's a good cast. I think it should be pretty good.
Well, can I just say the landscape is its own character. It's stunning. But Adam, he has something in common with you in this movie, because is it the first scene you're in? I don't remember if it's your introductory scene that you're in the boxing ring.
Yeah. I'm a military guy and special forces. My son goes into the military to sort of please me, and of course he comes out with issues. So I feel a little bit guilty about that. But I still train him, and he's a trainer, and which is a lot of fun for me to do. Brings back my Golden Glove days when I was a kid. But so it was.
Let's talk about your. I used to be a boxing trainer, and I too participated in the Golden Gloves many years ago. And I could see that you knew what you were doing. There was a clip in the trailer of about 3-4 seconds of Ernie holding the focus pads. But I could see in the 3 or 4 seconds you were holding the focus pads, you knew how to hold focus pads. And I could see that Gary Dearden knew how to punch in those 3 or 4 seconds as well. It doesn't take, it's like watching someone dance. You don't need to watch 10 minutes of somebody dancing. You watch 5 seconds. Yeah. I was watching one of those celebrity YouTuber boxing matches, and I was watching it with my son. It was like 6 months ago, and they rang the bell, and the way one of the guys went out, just his footwork, like the first 2 steps, I said, that guy's getting knocked out in the first round. He got knocked out in the first round, and my son's like, how did you know? I'm like, because I saw him he took 2 steps. And I knew he couldn't box.
Yeah. So that, which is always great if you're a fighter, but you want to see that, because I find in most professions there's a small percentage of guys who you have to worry about, but there's a whole lot of them who just really aren't prepared, or. But it's always good to see when something's done well, because what we do is storytelling, and if you see something that just doesn't ring right, it just takes you out of the story.
Did you? Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Can I tie this? Can I ask Ernie a follow-up? Tie this back to acting or the movie profession. Ernie, what are some signs, like if you arrive on set with an actor you never worked with before, maybe a young kid, maybe someone's been around for a while? What are some things maybe you might see? They're like, oh, I don't know if this guy knows what he's doing, or this girl's really sharp. Like, what are some tells? You know what I mean? Like tying it back to boxing.
You can usually tell who's really on point and good at what they do. I do a show called Grace and Frankie with Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, Sam Watterson. These are pros. They've been around for forever, and they're on point. So when you come to work, you've got to come showing up. What I find with a lot of younger actors who haven't had that formal training, with theater, usually if someone is irritated a lot and complaining a lot, it's usually to diffuse their own insecurities. Suddenly the lights aren't right, or the script's not right, or this doesn't work.
Some external force is.
Yeah, it's like, so how do I take it off me and blame the AD on why I'm not prepared? sometimes people will struggle with words, but most of that, if you're young, it's just because you didn't prepare before, coming to work. And it's a different mentality, than it was 50 years ago when I started acting. So, but yeah, usually people who are good at what they do are confident, and they bring that with them when they work.
Can we talk a little Golden Gloves since you brought it up?
Well, when I say I fought Golden Gloves, I fought for, I had a few fights, but I had a trainer who thought I was overconfident and really cocky. And so he had a friend who was a Marine Corps champion. He brought to the gym and he put me in the ring with him. And this was a man, and I was like a kid. And to teach me a lesson. And this guy just devastated me. I couldn't figure it out. And he just, so my grandmother who raised me had been trying to get me not to do this. And so I was so humiliated after that it wasn't a fight really. I didn't want to do it anymore. I'm like, okay, there's got to be a better way than this. But I always enjoyed it. And then when I did a play called The Great White Hope, where I played a character based on Jack Johnson. Mm-hmm. And to get ready for that, I trained just like I was training for a fight. So a lot of that came back. But yeah, that's my Golden Glove experience.
Jack Johnson got pardoned recently.
He did, yeah. I mean, it's been a lot of years. I think people expected Obama to do it.
That's a miss by Obama, right?
Yeah.
It's such layup.
That was an easy layup,
It was the Mann Act, right? If memory serves.
In fact, they created the Mann Act to deal with him because he was so outrageous and so just living his life on his own terms at a time when people would think it wasn't possible. And yet he somehow walked that line and survived.
People were, offended by his ability to live on his own terms, I would imagine.
Yes, his presence. He didn't stay in a category. He didn't go, okay, I'm a black guy, so I know I can't be here. He traveled the world. He spoke several languages. And he didn't compromise when he fought. He didn't go easy. He just he was an amazing character. And in a lot of ways, an inspiration. But nowadays, I'm not quite sure because he certainly wasn't politically correct. But just a very, very powerful man.
All right, let's talk Fantasy Island. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the COVID or something, but I find I'm watching The Love Boat. I watched like 4 episodes of Starsky and Hutch the other day. I just can't imagine. It's kind of how we lived, what cars we drove, what the sort of zeitgeist was, like what the general flavor was. Because if you take a look at one of those episodes from 1977 or 1979, it's exactly how everyone dressed then and exactly how everyone's hairstyle was and how they spoke. Right. And I'm studying it like an archaeologist, and an archaeologist with a buzz, let's be honest.
Right.
I don't watch it during the day. But I'm looking at all these shows, the Dukes of Hazzard, the A-Team, Fantasy Island, Taxi. That was a great show.
It was.
What'd you do on Fantasy Island?
Fantasy Island, the girl who was on the Love Boat. Lauren Tweez.
Cruise director, Julie.
Yeah, so it was an episode with her on the island. And she has a memory that she has to, whatever, I don't know. So my character was on this island. I played this priest who she has to go back and we perform this ritual. So I had a dance. I had this big dance that I had to do with a snake. And so that was what I did. I did this dance and it was amazing. But it was one of my first experiences coming out to Hollywood working in television. And Ricardo Montalban I got there and they had Howard Duff and some of these old stars who were on the show. And I felt a little bit like, I just kind of stay in my little corner. So I went to my dressing room and there was a knock on the door and it was Ricardo saying, welcome. So he said, come. And he brought me out and introduced me to everyone and set me down, at where everybody was having lunch, and he sat and talked with me. And it was the most amazing thing. I was so, of all the years I've been working, it's one of the highlights of my career that he was just so kind to me. And I'm always amazed when people are kind for no reason, but he just, and I was able to see him just before he passed and was able to tell him that. I'm sure he probably didn't remember, but it was just so gracious.
Yeah, the thing about those kinds of acts, and we've all been on we've been on the winning end of those, and I'm not going to say the losing end. I mean, we've had people be gracious to us, and then we've been gracious to other people. But the person that's being gracious never remembers. But that's not the point. The point is it makes a big deal to the other person.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you guys heard, someone come up to you and go, I talked to you after the show at the whatever 7 years ago at the Beacon Theater, whatever. And they go, you were totally cool and whatever. And you're like, I have no recollection of that. But they remember. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And Ricardo probably didn't. But now you're talking about it today, long after he's gone. And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's why you should do that stuff.
Yeah, and that's something I'll carry with me for forever. I mean, he just
see. They told me not to bring up Fantasy Island, but look at us now. We've unlocked a treasure in Ernie Hudson's heart. So we should get to for sure Ghostbusters and the new one too coming up. The first one. Did you know what was happening when it was happening? That's the kind of script or the kind of movie that could might not feel like it would be what it was when you were doing it, especially with all the effects not in place and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'd come to Hollywood. I'd done a couple of movies and was really trying to get started. And this script came, I got a chance to read the script, and it was amazing. It was, as an actor, that role, this was the role that was going to change my world. And the original script, the character was much more involved. But I just knew, or I felt that it would be a hit. But, when a movie comes out, it's out for a month or two, and then you go on to the next movie. I had no idea that it would sustain for 35 years, that people will still see me on the street and yell out, who you going to call? And that's a big Twinkie. That's surprising. But
I'm very sorry on behalf of all the fans of that movie that you've endured that for that long.
I'm humbled by it. I think it's one of those rare movies it crosses generations. And so I'll see grandparents with their grandkids. Somebody finds something in it. The little kids love it. The old people love it. I was at a convention and there was a family there. And this lady, they had a baby who was about 9 months old, and he had this perfect little jumpsuit, Ghostbuster jumpsuit with his name on it. And I said, wow, that's amazing. Where'd you find it? And the grandmother said, I made it for him, her son, when he was a baby, and now his baby's wearing it. And that's kind of how it's pretty amazing.
And the new one, which I guess it's Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is coming to theaters, I guess, in June, hopefully in June.
Well, no, it's been pushed back.
Oh, it's been pushed.
Been pushed back.
Past
It's been pushed back past June to November. Now it's November.
November 11th.
Oh.
Is what they're saying now.
Okay.
Holiday movie.
That's a good sign, I guess. I mean, you want to be around the holidays. Aykroyd, Weaver, Murray, Annie Potts. What can you tell us about this?
Well, they've been talking about doing another Ghostbuster for 30 years, and it just didn't look like it was ever going to happen. And when I got this script, and I love the script, Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman, who produced and directed the first two movies, is his son. And Jason was in the second movie. He was always a little kid running around the set. But he had sort of established himself. I think he'd been nominated. I mean, he's an amazing director in his own right. When I found out he was going to be directing it, I was really excited about it, and it was just great to go back to meet the new cast. It's a whole new generation, but it was also great to see Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney, Annie Potts. It was something that has had such an impact on my life for all these years. To kind of revisit that, I've seen different people from time to time, but to have us together in those characters it was very, very special.
Jason Reitman is a super talented writer, director, and nice.
Very nice, man,
His dad is not quite as nice.
Well, I always say Ivan Reitman is the kind of guy who you work for him because you respect his work, and so you want to get the job done out of respect for him, how he does it or whatever, but because he's a professional. Jason is a guy you want to do the job because you really like him and you want to see him succeed. And he's just a very, very nice. He's always been, even as a kid, he's just a nice young man. And I almost feel like, it's almost like family. I mean, I'm so proud of his growing up and having the career that he's had, but to be able to work with him was pretty nice, pretty special.
Yeah, many years ago, me and Jimmy Kimmel were writing a movie with Ivan, and he yelled at us a few times.
Ivan, he has his own approach. And,
it's. I don't know if it's worse on the set or alone with him in his home, because he yelled at us alone in his home with him. There's not a lot of places to hide when you're in like someone's house and they're yelling at you. But I kind of liked it. It was kind of fun. He lived.
Well, I will say, now that we're of a certain age, he's mellowed, but I feel really close to him now.
I liked him too. I liked him. It was brass tacks, 100%. Like he just sitting there and he go, you guys didn't make half the changes I told you to make last week. There's nothing about that in the script that represents that. And why are you wasting my fucking time? What are we doing here? And it was like, all right, I'm a big boy. I guess
that's right. That's what I'm saying. You come to work. It's not about, and you do the work because that's what you're paid to do, and out of respect. But Jason is a lot more fun to work with.
He's a sweetheart. I think I had dinner with him and a couple people once, and he did of course. I think Thank You for Smoking. I think that was his big, and a bunch of
Up
stuff.
in the Air.
Up in the Air.
Oh yeah. And Juno was pretty amazing. I mean,
it's a super. And he wrote this one. He wrote or co-wrote, or did he write it?
He co-wrote. Yeah, he co-wrote it with I can't remember the other writer's name, but and he directed, and of course Ivan also executive produced, so he was around, but it was Jason's show, and he was kind of the proud dad, sort of watching.
Where'd you guys shoot it?
Up in Calgary.
Oh, really? That sounds wonderful.
I shot it in Calgary. Yeah, it was until you get to the tax time, and then you realize it wasn't so wonderful. My God.
What do they charge? How does taxes work when you go to Calgary and you shoot and you get paid to be in the movie? How does the taxes work?
Well, they take the Canadian tax out of it. They still tax you, and then you got to figure out a way to get your money back. But then it's all these, my accountant and business person was trying to tell me, I'm like, well, where's the money? I mean, I had already spent this money. Where is my money? And it's a pain. And unless you bifurcate or do something, it's awful. It's awful. Honestly, between Canadian taxes, federal taxes, state taxes, city taxes, I'm like, what the hell? I mean, that's another conversation. I talk about taxes.
So you volunteered. You volunteered to do the new Ghostbusters movie.
Yes. So, but all I'm saying is, Calgary was wonderful. Love Canada. People are amazing, but the tax code sucks. So that's all. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm with you. The taxes. I was thinking about it the other night. Where they go like, you have to work until May 15th in California to pay your, you work for free from January 1st to like May 15th. And Biden's like, we're going to kick it up a notch. And California's, 13.5% or whatever. And it's really like 50%. But at this point, when you combine the state and the federal and all that, and they're looking to move it up depending on your bracket. And I'm like, in terms of like civil liberties, how come no one really counts taking half of your money that you earn away from you? Like in this world of nothing but this rights and those rights and oppression and civil liberties and the right and whatever, and this country should be free and blah, blah. How about just taking half of the money that you earn, just keeping it?
Yeah.
And by the way, if you don't pay, you go to jail.
Just have a standard thing that we all pay. You know what I mean? So I can figure it out. This is what I owe for taxes. Everybody pays the same. I'm good with that. But so the guys certain people don't pay any.
Yes.
And, and because they figured it out, and I'm just a guy trying to find an acting gig,
Did they go to Canada to save on taxes? Did the production do that?
Well, Ivan is originally from Canada.
Oh,
so I'm sure he's a Canadian
knew that's
citizen,
why I didn't like that.
But I don't know why they went to Canada. Calgary, a lot of the work has gone to Canada for, I'm sure, taxes. I mean, Canada, you get the money break. And what the exchange rate was, you're almost getting like almost half the money at one point, doubled, to go to Canada. So, and production went up to Canada, and there's a lot going on up there,
Let me give a plug to the movie before we bid Ernie adieu. Redemption Day, available now on demand, digital, Amazon Video, iTunes, YouTube as well. And you can shoot him a tweet at Ernie_Hudson as well. And then the new Ghostbusters now back November 11th, I think we figured out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Assuming
that.
COVID's under control and we're able to get back into theaters.
Too. All right. Ernie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
we're
great
all
talking
big fans. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with the news right after this.
Give me the news with Grad, news with Gina Grad, breaking, viral, weird crime, protest, politics. Give me news with Gina Grad, stuff they saw on TMZ, Joe Biden, Kamala, beat news with Gina Grad.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, Marilyn Manson has responded to the allegations by Evan Rachel Wood, or maybe not her specifically, but it seems likely, after she and 3 other women accused him of abuse, and he was dropped from his record label, by the way. Marilyn Manson responded to these allegations.
I learned Marilyn Manson had a record label.
Yeah, that's right. Dead or Alive, the record label. So in a post on Instagram,
he was like, "Fetch me my quill and my vial of virgin blood. I'm going to write a sternly worded response." Yes.
A sanguine response.
That's right.
So this is what he said. "Obviously, my art and my life have long been magnets for controversy, but these recent claims about me are horrible distortions of reality. My intimate relationships have always been entirely consensual with like-minded partners. Regardless of how and why others are now choosing to misrepresent the past, that is the truth."
All right.
So,
well, that's the response.
And I think here's where we could meet in the middle. You're young. You want to date Marilyn, or you're flattered, say that Marilyn Manson has an interest in you. But if you want to be with Marilyn, you got to get into some freaky shit. And you go, okay, I'll give it a try. And then you kind of get older and you realize, what the fuck did I let myself do? And now you're like, no, that wasn't right. But in the moment, this is what you do to be with someone like that.
I think, look, you get into this like sort of role playing stuff, and the role playing is never, let's do happy couple of 31 years. That's not what, that's
casserole
not how,
party.
Yeah, that's not how it works, like Minnesota Mom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if I was trying to do role playing with you.
Oh, I would I don't want this to be too kinky, but I've been rolling around an idea in my head. Now, I know that when we do the tuna noodle casserole, you like the cornflakes on top because they're nice and crunchy, but guess what Meryl does down the street?
Yeah.
She puts potato chips on top, and I thought we could spice things up.
Hey, bitch. I need you to stop eyeballing me right now.
Oh.
I need you to get in a prone position. I'm going to take my belt off.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Okay. And that removal of the belt's going to serve two purposes, okay?
Oh, do I need to let your pants out again? I know I've been going heavy with the sides.
No, don't
lately.
go for your sewing kit. Just
I was going to darn your socks. I can do your pants.
No. What the fuck was I? Okay.
You need me to put another notch in that belt for you.
Jesus Christ.
I love your little pot belly. It's just too cute.
I memorized that whole Reddit thread, and now I'm fucking all fucked up. Okay. Hey, bitch.
Oh, yeah. My.
What did I say about... I'm taking this suspender off. Oh, fuck. What was the thing? I'm taking this belt off. You understand?
Oh, sure.
And you know why I'm taking this belt off?
Well, I thought it was because you needed another pleat.
No, it's because it holds up my trousers. You know what's under my trousers?
Oh, is it those cute little boxers?
My throbbing hog.
Oh, my God.
It's got your name on it. Or at least your initials.
Howard, this is cute.
Yeah, but you know what else I do with that belt?
Oh, do tell.
I tan that lily white coolie of yours.
My what now?
I use it to tap you upon the buttocks.
Oh, Howard.
Yeah. You've been a bad. You've been a bad wife. Hey.
I'm a bad. Oh, well, don't get crazy now. I know we're role playing.
Those bars you made last Sunday when the guys came over, they were dry. They were dry. It was like eating spackle.
Oh, Howard.
Mommy, Daddy, are you guys fighting?
Bradley, this is just a conversation for the grown-ups. Now you run along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Peterson, do I need to be punished?
Yeah, that's right. Those maple bars were super dry. And the cocoa didn't help because you put too many mini marshmallows on the top. I could barely get through to the liquid part.
Shoot. Now, I don't know if you're kidding or not. I'm worried about those bars.
All right, now listen.
Okay.
I'm taking my glasses off.
Oh, Howard.
Yeah, and I'm going to let them dangle by my neck from the chain that's on them. And when I come up behind you, I'm going to mount you like a big mouth bass goes over a fireplace.
Oh, see, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the big mouth Billy Bass. Those are a hoot.
Yeah, let me get out my udder bomb.
Oh, honey, I have some. Yeah, no, I have my udder bomb right next to my sock cozies and my bifocals.
Yeah, this is water. This is a water soluble udder bomb I ordered online.
Oh, I didn't know they did that. Let me write that down now.
No, don't write it down. Because you've been a bad girl.
Oh, that's right. I have been a bad girl.
Yeah. Now, Jesus Christ.
Now
that's all I can remember.
You want my nightgown on or off? I know it trails kind of behind me with the lace and the frills, but I thought that looked kind of nice and a little, demure. But I could hike it up to the ankle.
Yeah. I'm going to go take a shower. Where's my phone?
I think you left it over on the charger.
I need to take a shower.
Oh.
So.
Oh, you getting all scrubbed and clean for me, Mr. Peterson?
Yeah. Why don't you go in the kitchen, get working on rattling them pots and pans with the casserole. Then let's go with the ruffles.
With the ruffles?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean on the nightgown or on the casserole?
Surprise me. I got to go take a shower. Where's my phone?
Okay,
you know what? I'll bring my computer in the bathroom.
Well, honey, are you sure? I don't want the humidity to affect your computer. I know you need it for work.
I'm not going to run the water.
Oh. Okay, well, you just do what you do. I gotta tell you, got me a little worried about these maple bars, so I'm gonna take another crack at it with the marshmallows.
You know what I'd like to do with that maple bar?
Oh, what?
Take in the bathroom with me and eat it while I'm being off. And scene. Thank you. Yeah, so Marilyn
So it went down
Manson.
just like that. Yeah.
Well, okay. There's a thing. There's a couple things. First off, when you're young and you're doing this whole role play thing, it can get pretty blurry, those lines. You know what I mean? Like,
especially when the guy's pale white with 2 different color eyes.
Right. So there's a definite possibility where they're both correct. You know what I mean? They were both engaging in this. Both of their experiences were correct. This could be it. She could feel this way and he could feel this way because you're with Marilyn Manson and you're role playing.
And the way she made it
And
sound
you were
was she was
19
much younger, exactly.
or whatever. So
Yeah.
yes, and that this is just a natural thing. So I don't know how you can prove where the line is between the actual role play and the actual crime. That's the tough part.
Yeah, and as a female who's been young and who's been in odd situations, I can absolutely identify with if it happened this way. If, you're with somebody like that and they're like, look, if I'm showering you with all of this attention and all of this stuff, but this is how it's going to go down if you want to stick around. And you kind of don't have your bearings because you don't have any experiences. So looking back, of course you feel taken advantage of, and of course you're angry. But in that moment, they kind of got you to sign off on it in sort of a tricky way. It's sticky.
How else? You think about it, if a woman is like at the height of her powers, a beautiful woman at 19 years old, the height of powers, and you're having all these men, older men, approaching you sexually, it's a fucking recipe for disaster. When I was 19, I didn't know anything. Like my decision making wasn't good. My vetting talent, if some guy pulled up in a pickup truck and just opened the door and went, get in, I'd go, all right.
Where are we headed?
Where are we headed? Like, I would do anything. Like, of course, this has to happen. And the older guy's like, hey, I didn't do anything. I asked for consent, whatever. But I don't know. Can you thoroughly, we all agree that a 13-year-old can't give consent.
Right.
What is so magic about being 18?
I was going to say, all the day you turn 18, you all of a sudden are making great decisions.
I know we got to pick a number, and I guess that's just how life works. But yeah, most people made bad decisions when they were younger. I don't know. We'll see where this thing goes, right?
Yeah. And by the way, this says, who's the happiest person? Who's the happiest celebrity today and yesterday because of this?
Hal Holbrook.
Who has it knocked out of the spotlight for a couple of days? Armie Hammer.
Oh, yeah, Armie.
So we'll see what happens with his, can I just have one of your ribs and I'll smoke it and eat it? And you don't really need that rib.
Please get that drop. That was clean. Like the rib.
Moving forward, Mitch McConnell on Monday has spoken out against Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, though he didn't mention her by name either. But are you familiar with Marjorie Taylor Greene?
I'm familiar with it because it's like the biggest story in politics. She's a fucking nut.
Yeah, elected nut.
Right, but she doesn't. I don't know. She's not a power player in the political realm. She is
grabbing the spotlight. And
I know. We shouldn't be feeding her oxygen. She's a fucking nut job.
Well, Mitch McConnell agrees. He said he called her embrace of loony lies and conspiracy theories a cancer for the Republican Party. He said somebody who suggested that perhaps no airplane hit the Pentagon on 9/11, that horrifying school shootings pre-staged, and that the Clintons crashed JFK's airplane is not reality. This has nothing to do with the challenges facing American families or robust debates on substance that can strengthen our party. She responded on Twitter and said, the real cancer for the Republican Party is weak Republicans who only know how to lose gracefully.
Oh.
Snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a nut.
Yeah, a lot of theories.
Yeah, I just mean I understand she holds an office, but I'm just saying there's so many fucking nuts out there. I'm dismissive of it because I understand there's just nuts, and I don't feel like I feel like we're fanning the nut flame. Yes,
I agree with you. Can I propose a contrarian point of view? Because obviously a lot of Democrats, even some Republicans, want her expelled or removed. I don't know what the reality of that is. Contrarian point of view, wouldn't it be better for Democrats to leave her in office? And because they're just going to replace her with the Republicans going to vote the same way. You're not gaining anything. But by having her be the sort of lightning rod of insanity, you I think you gain something from that.
Yes.
I would say I would. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think you're absolutely right. I think the Republicans are like, this is not a good look for us. Throw her overboard. And the Democrats are like,
Go nuts, literally.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But there's also this thing where it's like one fringe nutbag does not speak for the Republican Party.
Right.
And
but
there's like, according to the news, it's like she's the leader of the Republican Party. She's a fucking nut who most agree she's a nut. I'm just saying, I think the reason this thing has legs is because of the news cycle. It's they love to make this mountain out of this molehill. She's a fucking fringe nut job who doesn't speak for many or almost anybody. So
well, I wasn't planning on doing this, but because we're talking about the fringe nut jobbiness of her, a weird plug. My fiance has really been picking up steam with his impression of her on Twitter. It has like over 100,000 views and thousands of retweets.
Really?
He's now doing Marjorie Taylor Greene just for fun. You can, Chris, I don't know if you want to find it. There's 2 up right now. But he's having a lot of fun with that and some interesting retweets.
Why would we look for that? Is she the Republican AOC in the sense that it drives the other side incredibly nuts, and I don't think she represents the larger group. Obviously, Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't represent thoughts of all Republicans, even most Republicans. Like, is it similar in that respect?
Yeah, I think it is, but AOC is a darling. I mean, she gets magazine covers and she's they don't agree with her. AOC is nuts, but she's a much brighter star. She's much more public. She's much more in the zeitgeist. But yes, I think there's some equivalency there. And AOC is fucking nuts, in a different way, in a sort of anti-nuts kind of way. But yes,
she's also been in the news. I wasn't going to bring it up, but she's also in the news the last couple of days. I believe, sort of comparing the storming of the Pentagon. I'm sorry, the Capitol, to her experience as a sexual assault survivor, which is dividing a lot of people on Twitter, I guess. Again, she's the tip of the spear for the I felt threatened crew, which is, Ted Cruz tried to murder me kind of thing. Like, she's getting way, way out there with this shit. Like, she's going this weird victimness, whatever. She said when one of the Capitol Police showed up at her office, she was frightened because he was white, essentially. Like, she's getting way down the road on this shit. Like, you're going to throw the fucking Capitol Police under the bus because a white guy showed up to your office? I was also wondering if she and Ilhan Omar have made up, since she was mad at AOC for getting the vaccine. A lot of stuff going on.
Squad drama.
Squad drama. They had Chris pulled, or Kaylin, somebody pulled the original Andy doing Marjorie Taylor Greene, if you want to see it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I wasn't ready for this.
I wasn't ready for this either.
Hi, it is Marjorie Taylor Greene. The M stands for Marjorie, and I am cheesed. Not just because the Antifa snuck into my fridge and injected HGH into my ribeyes, thus giving me this full beard and ample chest hair. Nope, I have hated with the lies and accusations being spread by the radical left. I am not a QAnon conspiracy theorist. There is a myth that has been perpetrated by the George Soros-funded media elites who want nothing more than to dine on a cocktail of unborn Christian babies and melted down 38 caliber firearms, which they want to steal from the cold dead hands of patriots. That video of me harassing the Parkland survivor was doctored by the same leftist agenda-pushing editor who found a way to deepfake videos of me saying things that not only should get me expelled from Congress, but should make any reasonable person consider me very dangerous to each and every American citizen. I am not a QAnon conspiracy theorist. I am not a seditionist. I am not the love child of Charlize Theron from Monster and Hitler Buffalo Bill. These are all lies. The radical left is trying to take my freedom. They're trying to take my guns. They're trying to take my thumbs. Hey, look. Oh, they just took my thumb again. Don't let George Soros take your thumbs next. MTG signing off, you sons of bitches. WG1, where we go, one, we go, all we go. We WGG1, all one.
All right, now play Andy.
So
Wow.
he's done a follow. That's Andy Harris on Twitter, but he's having.
That was
some people are having
inspired.
fun. Thank you. He's
Nice.
having a lot of fun with that. So please keep her in the spotlight for a couple of more weeks. He's having fun. So we have a heckler situation with LeBron James. The LA Lakers beat the Atlanta Hawks on Monday.
I hope it's a China thing.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not that exciting. That's not what people are talking about, though. There was a little dust up between LeBron and a courtside ticket holder, a lady, Juliana Carlos. She was ultimately kicked out of the arena with her husband, Chris Carlos, and the rest of their group. I think she's like 25 and her husband's a man of a certain age, but you'll see. The rest of their group was also kicked out. Here's some commentary from the argument that got her kicked out. So we have two clips. This is the first one.
Of the Cavaliers that set LeBron off in Cleveland.
This lady, wow.
Well, she's pointing like that one meme with the lady and the cat.
And now here she is.
Just got kicked out of the game for talking shit to LeBron James, for talking shit to my fucking husband. This is such fucking bullshit. Listen, let me tell you, LeBron James looked at my husband during the game and cussed him out, and I stood up and I go, don't fucking talk to my husband. Talk to my husband one more time and I will fuck you up. And he started fighting with me. He goes, shut your mouth, dumb bitch. And I go, you shut your fucking mouth, bitch.
So she's lovely. She's kind of like a real Barbie, but you're going to love this. LeBron had thoughts about this at the press conference, and he said at the end of the day, he's just happy that fans were back in the building. He misses the interaction. He says we as players need that interaction. I don't feel like it was warranted being kicked out.
Do we know why LeBron and the husband were jawing?
All we know, or all I know, is they were courtside in almost an empty arena. So anything you say, the players are going to hear.
Was this at the Hawks or was this at
Hawks.
the Lakers?
Hawks.
Get your shit together, Georgia.
So they're kind of fucking with them.
LA wouldn't be allowed to have fans,
That's what I thought.
are they?
Yeah.
I don't think we're allowed to have fans.
No, they were courtside. They were sitting right there. LeBron tweeted, "Courtside Karen was mad."
It seems weird. I never buy LeBron started cussing out my husband for no reason kind of thing. It seemed like a bizarre activity
Especially
to
how many
engage in.
years, 16 years in the league or whatever it is. Like, he would either have a history of this or this would be insane mental breakdown.
I think the husband probably said something, and then LeBron probably answered, and then Super Barbie intervened. Although I like that she's protective and tenacious. I like that.
Don't talk that way to my husband. I'll fuck you up, LeBron James.
It's also weird because it's an interesting societal thing, which is a 5'0", 105-pound woman can say, "I will fuck your shit up, LeBron James." But if you're 6'2" and 190, you would never say that.
No.
And it's kind of an interesting thing because the fight between her and LeBron James, it would never happen. But the fight between the guy who's 6'2" and 190 could happen.
Yeah.
And that's why that person would keep their mouth shut. And although I do feel like there is an onslaught of women just like screaming like
mouthing off.
Well, kind of at the longshoreman thing, like, fuck you, bitch, I'll fuck your shit up, like aggressive, weird, hostile physical stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not them, like in the past, if there's sort of a cat fight, it would be like you're old or you're fat or I see why your first husband left you or like whatever. But it was like I will beat the shit out of you.
Right.
Like traditionally, that was kind of the man's side. Domain, I should say. That's the man's domain. Like, I will fuck you up. I will beat you. Although, one of my favorite stories is when I was playing like a pickup football game at Sun Valley High School when I was like 19. There was some chick, lest you think these Karens are 10 minutes old. This is, 30 years ago. And we're trying to, and this family like they had the baseball diamond and the guys wanted to play football and they wanted them to get off the diamond and everyone was like yelling at each other through the fence. And at one point, the chick, the mom, when everything was going back and forth and getting heated up, she yelled, "Suck my dick!" And everyone just started laughing maniacally. Yeah.
Chris just sent this to me. Juliana has apologized.
Oh.
So I don't know who made her do that, but I have it right here if you want to hear it.
Sure.
It says she takes full responsibility for crossing the line. She says, to say things escalated quickly at yesterday's game is an understatement, and I want to apologize for losing my cool and removing my mask in the heat of the moment. My husband is a huge sports fan, and we're passionate people. And let's be real, sports wouldn't be sports without a little trash talking. What should have been quick back and forth between two adults got out of hand, and my natural instinct to stand up for the man I love kicked in. Did I get defensive when that happened? Yes. Did I use offensive language when I could have taken the high road? Yes. And for these things, I take full responsibility.
They were going to take away the season tickets.
Good. Yeah.
Totally.
Closure. All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
Well, Brett Favre coming in tomorrow, so that ought to be a good one. Oklahoma City Bricktown Comedy Club coming up February 26th, 27th. Doing a live podcast there and stand-up. You can go to amcarolla.com for all the stand-up, and you can watch all those unprepared clips. We put them together. Chris puts them on the YouTube page. Ernie Hudson, Redemption Day, available now on demand and all the digital platforms. Until next time, Adam Carolla for Ernie Hudson and Gina and Bald saying mahalo.